This person's pointing out that as games drop in numbers, there comes this problem that the people who are still playing it are really good at the game. And so anybody new coming into the game is now only able to play against a pool of really good players because normally you have a gajillion players, and this is why games always want new players. You have somebody to play against. They're all new. You're all getting it together. It's like kind of like when PUBG first hit the scene, man. When the numbers were not like record breaking, it was really fun because you were fighting just against random strangers who just like, I don't know how to play this game. And you're like, well, I'm going to kick your ass then. And then eventually now that game still just needs new players in all the time. So you have this kind of mix of players of skill levels because you get this hardened little group. That'll happen. And this is what I said in my video about the death spiral. This is the spiral, right? When you become this kind of calcified, kind of hard group of hardcore players at the core, that's fine for a game that you're charging money for and people are playing. But there's a couple of things that happen here. Well, first, disclaimer. Yeah, my game, death loop of players, 100%. The Anacrusis does not have, you're not going to find a bunch of players if you just go to matchmaking. But where it's different is, my game is about playing with your friends anyways. It's a co-op, 4-player co-op game. So it doesn't make a difference if you play with your 4 friends, if you have 1 million players or 4 players. You're still going to have the same amount of fun. It actually plays for single player. And there's a versus mode with 8 players, but still, right? Like that's what we built it for. Where you're making a competitive game, you always want to have new people to play. You want to have this big pool to be able to compete against. And especially something like this is your expectations are that there's going to be games to match into and they're going to be a skill level that you can play against. Now, it's okay if this hardening happens for some games. And this is so few, it's almost not worth talking about because like Counter-Strike, when we launched CSGO, we started with the pros first. So the pros got really good at the game. When you jumped into the game at first, you were playing against really good players. There's also a bunch of really good CS players because the game had been around forever. But that's part of the core of the game. It's very simple to get into, and it's just expressing your skill inside of that. To this point of like the finals, there's a bunch of new stuff in there. It's cool stuff. A bunch of movement and other things. You've got to learn that while other people already know it. And so you've got to scale up, and it's a little bit harder. But it's also Counter-Strike, the expectations where you're going to lose, right? When you first start playing Counter-Strike, your expectations are you're going to get your butt handed to you. And that helps the game. That actually helps the game because then that onboarding of getting on just feels really good. So I just played something, I don't know if I'll talk about, really cool, really cool multiplayer game that's doing something neat. And I was not the best player of it. It's the first time I'd ever played it. But I had this one moment where I was the last one alive. Like, I did the clutch play. I killed everybody else. I did the thing you have to do. And, like, it felt really good. Like, oh, my God. Right? And I walked away with, like, I'm now on a high of, like, that moment, even though the rest of the time I sunk. Counter-Strike can do that for you, right? But then you have other games, and this is what you're seeing now, I think in Destiny, in particular, Destiny 2, is you're having this really big problem that you always had this like new player gulf, right? If you wanted to play with your friends, like so you love Destiny 2, oh my God, it's the best game ever, and you try to introduce somebody new to it. Well, you're gonna have to make a Smurf account because you're gonna have to go play lower levels with them before they can join you in the upper levels, and that then really gets amplified as their numbers are dropping now. They've had some problems with some updates, and you see this then. Well, all of a sudden, who's bringing in those new players? How are those players playing? Hey, I'm not going to play that game anymore because it's dead, right? I mean, go to the Anacrusis forums. Again, I'm talking book here because I learned stuff. Well, not new stuff anyways, but you know what I'm saying? Like, people that dead game. Like, yeah, okay. You can't hurt my feelings on this, right? I'm the one saying it is, not you. It's so weird. It's like, I'm fat, and someone's going to be like, you're fat. I'm like, yeah, that's what I said. All right, but enough of me. Actually, I could talk all day about me. But, all right, but back to this. This is a problem, right? And so this is like the finals needs to do something. They need to do something probably big because you can't do little incremental updates on this, right? You can't fix the problem of like, hey, we've got a new map. Well, whatever. I didn't like it then, or there's not enough players. You got to do something big. You got to say, something as a statement to players. And this is why you see sometimes these really big updates, or you don't see updates for a while because somebody's packing all their updates in and they want to have that really big drop. Now, from what I've been told is, because I don't play the finals that much, is one of the problems is the Game Pass is grindy. And that means you've got to play a lot versus something like Fortnite where you just jump in and you're earning stuff. Or, like I was talking about, the where I am in the loop of Deep Rock Galactic. Totally different game, but it does the thing of like, even when I screw up and die early, I still get a little something out of it, right? And so that's battle pass design. That's, another problem. But you can't advertise, hey, we fixed our battle pass, or hey, we made the game fun. Like, right? So you need to have some statement. You need to have some like new season. You need to have something to draw it in. But the problem you have with a free-to-play game is you can't put it on sale. You can't have a free weekend. Every weekend's free, right? And so this is one of the things that free-to-play games really have this problem because they've removed a bunch of levers that you normally could use to promote your game or make it this shockingly new, hey, I'm going to go try it. Because you can go try it today. And again, I'm not knocking the finals. To me, that's a cool world. It feels good. The Smash TV, I always go back of like, I kind of like Smash TV a little bit better because it's a little dirtier, darker. I don't know. Kids probably don't even know Smash TV. Did they do a remake? Maybe they did. But all right. But yeah, it is an interesting problem, right? And I'm really following kind of the finals in both Destiny 2 because I think Destiny 2's problems, while getting called out by Sony during layoffs, probably means it's pretty bad. Is pretty bad, and how are they going to fix that? Because they have a problem, and they've got to really think kind of outside the box to how to unhinge that problem, especially Destiny 2, because I think if you have not played Destiny by now, you are not going to play Destiny. Like, there's nothing, like, they've got to bring back old players, and they've got to give them a compelling reason why, and they've got to reintroduce them, because that kind of how they do their Battle Pass core kind of progression is different than a lot of other games. And it's a lot thicker and different. It doesn't jive with me, but I get it. Obviously, like a bunch of people really love it. So they got to figure out how to get those people back in and doing on it. Because those are the two games that I'm kind of thinking about. And in my game, hey, we call it like a social game. It's a quiet social game. Come hang out with us on our Discord or just, play solo. Also, we dropped the price because we realized that, right? And kind of try to be equitable of the trade that we're giving you for some money and for some entertainment. I don't know. It's interesting times, though, because there are so many of these coming out that are asking for time. And we all have limited time. Except for that woman who makes pasta. Because every week she's like, oh, I eat this pasta every day. But it's like, she has like 50 different pastas. She says she eats it every day. She's not that big of a woman. I don't know how she does it.